Hello and welcome to not travel tonight. Unfortunately, Jess is under the weather this weekend and was not able to join us. So instead, we are playing a little one-off game of Spoken Magic, which is a game I'll talk about in a second. But before we talk about that, let's talk about ourselves. Lindy, how have you been? You see how I phrased that? Did you see how I did that?
Yeah, I did. I have been good. Thank you for asking. I have consumed much sugar in the past couple days. I'm on the new sugar/carb diet. It involves copious amounts of Skittles, Cheetos, and potato chips.
Wait, but I think it's important you tell the viewers how much,
Like
not
a
how many,
pound and a
but
half.
how much Skittles.
Like a pound and a half. But don't worry, it was a 3-pound jar. I'm saving the other pound and a half for later.
Like tomorrow.
Like, yeah! Like in my last till Wednesday, if I'm lucky.
Oh my goodness. Lindy, you're just gonna turn into a sugar person.
I'm just so... It's because I'm so sweet.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And I've been doing just a lot of graphic design besides that. So I've been just sitting here eating sugar and making photos.
Productive.
Yes, it's my fuel source. Keeps me going.
Wait, isn't there one of the characters in My Hero Academia has that, like his superpowers, he gets stronger after eating sugar. I don't
That's
remember
me.
who it is, but yes.
It's
yes,
Lindy.
It's you.
It's just me.
I didn't know you were in an anime. Wow, that's so
surprise.
cool.
I'm really humble about it. I don't like to brag.
Oh man. Okay. Julie, how have you been?
Hi. I'm good. I don't have a lot to report. Lots of role-playing games coming up for me.
Yeah. You want to talk about some of them?
The next couple of weeks, next 3 weeks or so. Sanguahona.
Yes.
Which is a campaign using Urban Shadows that we played on Summer's channel. Off the Table is coming back in 2 weeks. It's been announced. I was like, oh crap, did they not announce it yet?
No,
But
they did.
Yeah, they did. June 6th, which is a Thursday. New playbook. And I'm not going to say what it is because I actually am the only one who is still unsure of what I'm doing.
Wait.
Everyone else is like...
New playbook, new character? Same character,
Yeah.
new playbook? Okay.
No, new character, because it's set about 100 or so years in the past.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everyone else has been so like on their game, creating their characters, like writing short stories about their characters. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do still. I have like ideas, but I haven't decided. Yeah, so I'm doing that, and then like 2 days later, we're playing Burning Wheel here on Fun Shots.
Yeah.
On the 8th.
Gosh, that's soon.
Yeah.
I need to talk to Matthias about that.
And I actually have a
my
character
character
concept for that one, so I'm not as stressed about that. And then I'm going to be running a Burning Wheel campaign.
Hell yeah!
Finally.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've posted anything on Pen and Paper Pals. It's been like a year.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, yeah.
Whoa, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think we finished at the end of June.
Yeah. Oh man. Gosh, my character was terrible. She was such an awful person.
Yeah. I mean, they all kind of were.
I didn't get, like, I mean, Nox's character, the knight, was like had some problems.
She definitely had some issues.
And like obviously the witch was my mortal enemy and also not the greatest person, but DC's character, was hunter, if I remember correctly,
yeah,
like seemed okay. Like I didn't get any
Yeah.
feelings off of that character where I was like, oh, man, fuck this one.
Yeah, that was fun. So it'll be nice to GM, because I haven't really GM'd anything in like a year. I started up a home game of Burning Wheel, and then one of the people has been unwell, so we only did like 1 or 2 sessions, and then it kind of just it's been on hiatus. So yeah, I get to
The
GM
struggle.
again soon. Yeah, but it's okay. Like I'm more concerned about her being okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that'll be on Pen and Paper Pals every other Sunday on starting the 16th, I believe is gonna be the start date. But I'll post stuff on Twitter when it's coming.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm very excited for all of that. I'm especially excited for the Burning Shores of Achilea, the short shot that Matthias is running for Fun Shots here. Because I've been wanting to play Burning Wheel for a while. I have kind of a funny history with Burning Wheel. A friend of mine introduced me to it when I was like 15 or something, like over a decade ago. A friend of mine was like, I have this really cool RPG, and I was like, I only play 2nd edition AD&D. What are you talking about? And he was like, here, check this out. And I read this like little book that it came in. It was like a little hand like soft cover book, and I read it, and I was like, this is too weird for me.
It's weird.
There's too much stuff going on for my only plays 2nd edition AD&D, has read Shadowrun once like brain. And so I was like, you keep this game and let's never talk about it again. And then more recently, I heard people talking about it, especially like Adam Koebel is a very loud fan of Burning Wheel. And
that's how I got into it, was because of him.
Yeah, and like his thing that he did that was like that. Let me explain why I like Burning Wheel and also how the game works. He did a video series, I forget, on that, and I watched that, and I was like, okay, this might actually be kind of cool.
Super cool.
And then
It's
I watched. He did a one shot on the Roll20 Presents series of it, and I was like, okay, or no, he did a series, and I watched the first few episodes of that, and I was like, okay, it's still kind of weird, but still pretty cool. And then the thing that sold me was Ethan running Mouse Guard for me, where I was like, okay, this is obviously a much more accessible version of the system, but I can see the bones underneath, like I can see where the games cross over, and
That's awesome.
it is so good.
Series 1 was pretty good, but he actually ran 3 campaigns.
Holy shit, really?
And Series 3 is my favorite. It's really, really great. It's very Game of Thrones.
Nice.
And it's awesome. They do, and like the cast is super cool. Like Blue Jay's on there, and Distracted Elf, and Andrew, his friend Andrew, who's like amazing game designer too, and Dave. Like, there's such a good cast, and it's so awesome. And the shit that happens that you like don't, because the whole game is play to see what happens, right? So like, you'll like get to the end of the episode, and some like crazy thing will like happen just because of the roll of the dice. And you're like, well, cool. And then it's a really good series. So if you have time to watch another role-playing game series, I would recommend Series 3 of that one.
Absolutely. I've been, gosh, what have I done this week? I don't even remember. I did some video editing. I streamed for 9 hours on Wednesday on accident.
It happens.
Yeah, I sat down to play Prey, and I was like, I'm going to play this game until it is finished, because I feel like I am close to the end, and as much as there are Prey went for 9 hours. I was like, as much as I enjoy the mechanics of this game, the gameplay of this game, I didn't have it in me to be playing it for like 2 more weeks or something. And so I was like, if it takes me 45 minutes, it takes me 45 minutes. If it takes me 6 hours, like, I'll be up kind of late, but not that late. And then it 9 hours and 15 minutes was the amount of time that I ended up playing Prey. I was up until like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, something like that. It was a slog, and I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't, but my opinions of the game, I like the gameplay. There are a couple design decisions where I'm like, that was a bad call. Like the hacking minigame in Prey is just bad. It's just a bad minigame. And there are a couple things where I'm like, how did you think that was fun and a thing that you should put in a game? But like the actual gameplay of it, especially once you get some upgrades on your character, like ton of fun. The ending, I tend not to get upset at endings in games. I tend to be like, oh, that was okay. At worst, I am actually like upset, and maybe it's just because it was 4 or 5 in the morning when I got to it and I was tired. But like, I did not like the ending of that game.
At least you got to the ending. I have this weird habit of not finishing video games. Like I'll get all the way to like just before like the final boss ish. Like I can feel I'm right near the end, and then I'm like, I kind of see where this is gonna go, and then I just never finish. And then I never finish.
Well, there are a bunch of different endings for that game too, so you might just have gotten the one.
Yeah, it was. Really I mean, unless they are. How do I say this without spoiling anything? Unless they are drastically different, not in their result, but in the twist, I would probably not be a fan. But I don't know, maybe I just got the one ending where I was like, that's a really bad ending to a game. But yeah, I haven't gone through YouTube to look at the other endings yet. But yeah, I have that with a couple games, Jolie, where I haven't finished them, but I found streaming helps a lot with that.
Yeah, streaming does help a lot.
If I'm playing it on stream, like I'll reach a point where I'm like, no, I should probably play this game and get it finished, because at least one person wants to see me finish the game, and for their sake alone, I should.
There's one game I need to finish, but it's scary. I don't know.
Which game?
Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Soma? It's the underwater one, and it's super scary.
Soma is my favorite horror game of all time.
It's so scary. I can't handle it.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
So
I love it.
Terrible.
I love it so much.
I don't give me horror and tabletop RPGs. Give me all of it, but not in movies, TV shows, or video games. I can't handle. I'm just a big baby, and I can't do it.
I mean, I'm also a big baby. The playthrough of Observer that I did on Halloween, you can watch the steady descent into like fear.
I started it for Halloween. I was like, this is gonna be the spooky game, and then it just kept going, and I'm like, it's going on forever.
Well, if you decide to continue playing it and finish it, please let me know so I can come and hang out while you do that.
Okay, it's the fire extinguisher is my best friend in that game. They're like my safety blanket. I carry them with me just always.
Yeah, that was me with auto turrets in Prey. I would find the turret in a given section of the station. I would pick it up, walk around with it, and then when I saw bad guys, I'd put it down. Yeah, I love Soma. Actually, I don't want to say what about it is an inspiration for some of my game design stuff, but that game is a big inspiration for me. I love it. And yeah, rather than talk about other people's games for the next 3 hours, which I kind of want to do, do we want to play a game? Do we want to play Spoken Magic? All right. So Spoken Magic is, full disclosure, as you can see right there, is a game that I made. So hashtag sponsored? I don't know. It's sponsored by me. It is a card prompt storytelling RPG. Sort of like mechanically vaguely similar to For the Queen, thematically and tonally more similar to Fall of Magic, which it originally was meant to be a Fall of Magic hack. I made it for the WizJam 2019 Game Jam back in March. Yeah, March of the Wizards. And originally I was like, I'm going to do an entire Fall of Magic hack. And then I was like, I have 3 days left. And so the game turned into what it is now, which I'm pretty proud of. But we'll go over the rules as we go. The rules are like a page and a half. Okay, maybe 2 1/4. It's not a lot. And most of that is the character creation. So why don't we start there?
Okay.
Both of you should have Roll20 open.
Yes.
And and you should have handouts in the journal
Yes.
that we can use as our character sheets.
Yeah.
So, rather than try to remember how my game works, I'm just going to read the PDF that I wrote. Need to set up the stuff once you've gathered the materials. All right. Play begins with each player writing down a sorceress name upon their index card, or in this case, on a handout. Leaving room for more information as the game progresses. So you need a sorceress name. And I'm gonna go with Paloma.
I'm going with Ulara.
I'm going with... Where do you need to write this all down?
Yeah. Well, I'll get to them in a second. Just write them on your character sheet and I can grab them from there. I'm thinking of a title for myself. I want to be Paloma the something.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Like, we can have qualifiers.
Yeah. I'm going to be
Can we have
Paloma,
koalas?
Paloma the
Koalas.
Weird. The weird with a Y.
Qualifiers.
All right. I'll have to update the overlay. Let's see. Paloma the Weird. And what did you pick? Ulara. Okay. And the Ash Hag?
Yep. You can call her
Jesus.
Ash or you can call her Hag.
Nice.
The Ash Hag. And
I think I was inspired because our neighbors next door have had this like crazy bonfire like all
Nice.
afternoon, and the ashes have been like pouring into our backyard.
Jesus. Is all
Sounds
the
a little bit
end
like King's
times.
Landing.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoilers.
That was only a week ago.
That was a little more than that. It was
But-
2
but-
weeks ago.
With the
don't-
finale.
Yeah, well,
Feels like a million years ago.
Okay, so after we have our name, each player selects a card at random from the Arcanum deck. Let me just make sure that it's shuffled real quick. Whoops. Shuffle Arcanum deck. Boom. Should be able to just draw a card
ooh.
by clicking on the blue deck there.
So we're drawing an Arcanum
Yes.
card? Okay. Just one?
Yes. And it will describe to you the nature of your magic.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Let's see. Draw a card. I'm
Okay.
trying to do this and update the overlay at the same time. All right. So I got your words are elemental.
Ooh.
What did you get, Jolie?
I got your words are stolen.
You
Ooh.
hag, you!
I'm a thief too.
And Lindy, what did you get?
Your words are restorative. I like how Julie and I are basically our Sunday night characters, where she's a hag, and I'm the healer.
You're right. Oh man. All right. Overly updated. Yes, success, victory. Okay. Once this has been done, you will share our names. We already did that, and decide who goes first by the most arcane means at your disposal. I'm gonna go with who has the earliest birthday in the year. So
March.
I'm September 24. March.
It's Lindy.
Okay.
I'm also September, so.
Oh, okay.
So Lindy will
Yummy.
get to go first. On your turn, you'll ask each other player to tell you one thing about their character. Once your turn is complete, the next player does the same until all players have taken a turn. So Jolie, when you tell another player something about your character, write that information down on your card. So, Lindy, go ahead and ask us questions about our characters.
Specific questions or just like tell me something about yourself?
Your call.
Oh, okay. All right. Dylan, what is Paloma the Weird's favorite color?
Ooh. It's a good question. And I got Elemental as my Arcanum. I think Paloma's favorite color is sort of an earthy green.
Okay.
Because she grew up in a forest, and sort of learned her magic from the natural movings of life around her.
Awesome. What is the Ash Hag's favorite hobby? What's her hobby?
I mean, the obvious one would be fire building.
Fire building? Okay.
Yeah, I think she likes camping. Like, I think she likes just being in the outdoors.
She's gonna love this.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's just go in. How does clockwise? Yeah.
Clockwise.
So, Lindy.
Yes.
Where did Ulara first get her magic?
She got it from a mountain spring. She was going on a little hike and had tripped and fell down a ravine, but there was a little spring down there. And she'd been kind of lost in the mountains for a while. And after drinking from the spring, she felt a little restored and found out she had a bit more abilities about her. And used it to kind of make her way back home.
Awesome. Go ahead and write that down on your card. And Julie, the Ash Hag, I'm just going to ask you the same question. Where did the Ash Hag first discover or gain her magic?
After...
No.
I think after she was burned at the stake.
Oh!
Jesus! Okay. All right. Okay.
Happens.
I actually think, so this is what I think. She wasn't a witch before.
But she was after.
She was wrongly accused of witchcraft and was burned at the stake.
So she stole her magic.
And like through some like magic, her ashes came back, formed back together, and now she's like an ash witch.
All right. Okay. Just both
Me.
Love it.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, write that down, then you can ask us some questions.
Okay. Dylan.
Was it on a Wednesday?
Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who has broken your heart? And it doesn't necessarily have to be the two of our characters, but who of the two of us knows about it?
Okay. Who has broken my heart, and which of you knows about it? I think, I had a really close friend that came with me when I left the forest, and we were sort of like we were each other's like safety and security when we left home, and we leaned on each other a lot. But then when we got here, which we haven't figured out where our home is yet, but once we got here, my friend just sort of ghosted me and was like, cool, we made it. I'm gonna go live my life. Bye. See you never. And Paloma's still really broken up about it. And I think, which of you knows about it? I get which of you is more gregarious? Like more social?
Ooh.
I have an
good
assumption, but
like I could see it actually being the Ash Hag. Like I think, but I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Do it.
then I think the Ash Hag knows, and I don't think you know because I told you necessarily.
Okay.
I think you know because you've met this friend
Oh,
and
okay.
and like spent time with them.
You're like,
and
yeah, just
whatnot.
ghost.
Do they have a name?
Sure. Their name is
Chad.
what?
Chad.
No. Zavar.
Zavar. Okay. Okay. Lindy,
Yes.
who do you regret healing and why?
Ooh,
That's such a good question.
that is a good question. I think she regrets healing this handsome young adventurer who stumbled upon her cabin in the woods. Turns out he wasn't an adventurer, but it was actually one of the local bandit leaders. And so he was like, hey, I got this, defending a town. Turns out he actually was the one who slaughtered the town. And that he went to do on it a few more times before, I found out about it after healing him.
Oof.
Is he still on the loose then?
Yeah, that's more interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, it took me like a couple months to heal him up. He was beat up real bad, like brink of death. Then-
no.
And I just
All right, great. We are all now powerful conduits of magic, but to give that energy shape, we will need words. Each player will draw 6 cards. I will deal these to you from the words deck, and you will decide. This is where we're probably going to spend most of our time on like a single thing. You're going to decide based on your arcanum and your own deep magical knowledge what each word means. Take as much time as you need and no more. So, deal 6 cards to all players. And deal. So we should each have 6 word cards now. You'll see that they have they've got runes too. So either you can play off of like the sounds of the words, or you could like sort of pick one of the sets of runes that you think fits your magic and try and base it off of that. Just
All right,
whatever
so
you like.
one more time, we're gonna pick.
You're gonna assign a real word to each of those magic words, a meaning to each of them.
Okay.
So, for example, I got Quadrionis, and my Arcanum is Elemental. So I'm gonna say Quadrionis sounds kind of like a stone word to me.
Okay.
And it's got like a interesting rune to it. So I'm gonna name it I'm gonna give Quadrionis the meaning of stone. And then you just do that for each of your words.
Ooh, I've got an idea.
I like writing them down in my little handout.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Sorry, what did you just say, Dylan?
I like to write them down on my handout so it's easier to keep track of.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Because part of it is you will use these up and expend the words in the game, but you'll also trade them to other players at certain points. So having the meaning written down somewhere is helpful. What do I got? Ooh, Hekato is a neat word. These runes look like to me.
Should we tell our ideas as we go, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm thinking, so my Arcanum is your words are stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every time the Ash Hag kills someone, she steals the essence of their soul.
Jesus.
That's what she steals. And I think, so one of my words is Centillia. And so I think that was like the name of the soul that I got, and it's represents a person who's very seductive. So it's like a word of seduction.
Okay. So what we're gonna do with these words, that is a great idea. What we're gonna do with these words once we have them is over the course of the game we will encounter problems, and we will pool our words together, at least one per spell, at most one each. We're going to pool our words into spells to solve those problems. Hopefully solve those problems.
Got half of mine.
Yeah, I'm at about half too.
Yeah, I got half as well.
I'm gonna make my life really hard and make them super specific. So obviously, in sort of like an apples to apples kind of way, like you're gonna have an easier time with vaguer definitions. But
okay.
You can also just every once in a while, if you give yourself a really specific meaning, you end up knocking it straight out of the park, and that's also always fun. Distati, which is my favorite word card. Yay! And last word, goal.
So one of my other words is Juror.
Mm-hmm.
Like J comma or J apostrophe ROR.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that person was a violent person.
Ooh.
So that's the spirit of violence. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think she summons their spirits.
I'm just gonna call this one Death. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Death is an
Mine
acceptable
are
element.
all pretty positive. Because my words are restorative. So, alright, I think I'm good.
Same.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
I need,
good.
like- I
I'm
need,
double,
like, one more
triple
minute.
checking mine.
Do you want to? I'd like to hear all of yours.
Yeah. So Paloma's words to start with are quadrionis, which means stone, relbor, which means conflagration, hecato, which means wind of the sea, le, which means flash of lightning, distati, which means creeping chill, and gul, which means death.
Hmm.
What have you got, Lindy?
I've got Andun, which is long river.
Mm.
Tis, which is rest. Yarun, which is deep sleep. Dalmar, which is mending. Bur, which is chill. And Ezer, which is cleanse.
Nice.
Cool.
The legendary death elemental. Yeah, totally. I'm thinking of elemental partially in the like classical Greek sense of the elements, but also in like the sense of things that are the basic structure of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
Okay.
of. Yep.
Sorry, keep going.
No. Give me your words.
Okay, so there's Scintilia, which is
Mhm.
seduction. Kepris was a spirit of jealousy. Mekinos was a spirit of weakness. Chabror was the spirit of violence. Alka was the spirit of calmness. And Hinla was the spirit of retribution.
Ooh.
So
Oh. Discord, hello? Are we good?
We're good? I'm
Okay,
good.
it was not you, Jolie. It was Discord did a weird.
Yeah, I heard it.
okay.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. Those are all fantastic words.
Ooh.
Okay. So, our journey begins soon. Before it can begin, though, we need a place to journey from. Our home. So, I'm going to draw the bottom card of the location deck, and that
Ooh.
will be our home that we start from.
Nice.
So, show backs, choose, scroll to the bottom, take this one, put it on the table. Our home, where we start, is the jungle of the Panther Queen. Ooh!
That
Oh,
sounds
Lord.
cool.
Cool.
Interesting. Okay. So this is where we start, and what we're gonna do. All right, let me move the screen so chat can see. What we're gonna do is over the course of this game, we will go from land to land, discovering new places and encountering new problems. Hopefully, solving them. Probably not solving all of them. And eventually, we will run out of words, and then we will take the long journey back home to this location. So we sort of start and end here. But let's take turns describing an aspect of this home and why you are leaving. Starting with Lindy.
An aspect of this home and why I'm leaving. Oh, I got this. So, I live in a tiny little hut at the base of the mountain in the jungle of the Panther Queen. And, it's nice and all, but I'm leaving because of that bandit. He's still running around out there, and while he hasn't done me harm yet, I gotta warn other people about him, because once he's done with this area, he's probably gonna go to the next place over, and I should let them know before it's too late. I don't want to cause any more harm from my accidental healing of him.
Mm-hmm. And your aspect about the location?
Oh, aspect. Like, what kind of aspect? Okay.
What's this place like? What's here?
Okay, it's
What are the people like?
So live very remotely. But the wildlife here, there's a lot of panthers,
Mhm.
and they're not completely wild. Some of them can be domesticated. because the Panther Queen has pet panthers, obviously, and it's awesome. And it's I'd say it's a jungle that has more heat shift and cold shift. So it's got cold nights, but really, really warm days because of the mountain range that's in it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome. I think the Panther Queen isn't a person.
I think
she's a panther. But she's a giant panther.
Nice.
And she's ancient and has lived in this jungle for centuries. And it's not just that she has these panthers. I think they're like the guardians of this jungle. And the reason that people have been able to sort of safely live here is that the panthers sort of keep anything like too bad from happening here. I think maybe that bandit like is from a neighboring place and like slipped in, was like, I need to escape. I'm gonna escape into the creepy panther jungle and hope for the best.
Then he started messing up panther people and panthers and people, and it's just cool.
Yeah.
Dang it. I named him. His name's Ricardo now.
Ricardo. Okay. And I'm leaving because I need to get away. I need to get away from Zavar. I have too much baggage here. I thought coming here was going to be good. I thought I was going to sort of like get a chance to start something new, but also like have this old connection, and the entire place has just sort of become a reminder of like how alone Paloma is. And so she just wants to go somewhere else and hopefully find a place where she feels like she belongs and like people actually want to have her around.
Cool.
So yeah, fun times.
Awesome.
What about the Ash Hag?
I love that we both were thinking a giant like panther goddess. It's amazing. Okay, so I think the aspect is that the Panther Queen made a bargain with the moon. Ooh. So that it would always be night in the jungle, so that you'd be able to hunt like better. So it's always night in the jungle. Yeah. And I think the reason the Ash Hag is leaving, I don't think this is the first time that she's left. I think she regularly comes and goes. Mm-hmm. But when she goes because there is a whole sect of priests and priestesses that persecute women for being witches in the world, and I generally just want to have my revenge. But I think there's still think there's a specific high priest out there who like ordered my execution. Mm-hmm. So ultimately I would like to get back at him.
Okay, well, we're happy people here.
Yeah,
all of us. So, once you all know your home, you must leave it. Your journey starts with the first turn, which will be Lindy's. Each turn consists of 3 components: the location, the problem, and spell casting. So, those first 2 steps, I'll go over them real quick. On your turn, draw a location card. Describe a scene at the place you have journeyed to based on the prompt written on the card. The scene may involve the other characters, and you may invite their players to join you in describing or enacting this moment, but ultimately, you decide what is and is not included in your scene. Take your time bringing wonder to this description. The lands you travel are quite literally only what you describe. You can also include NPCs in these scenes if you would like. That is totally acceptable. Once you are satisfied with your scene, a problem occurs. You will draw a problem card, describe the issue at hand based on the prompt written on that card, discuss who the problem affects and why, and explain why the problem must be solved with magic. Some problems may have additional instructions. If these instructions cannot be followed, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to that when a problem actually happens.
Okay.
But for now, draw a location card, describe the place and a scene.
Okay. Whoop.
Go
Location
ahead and put
card.
it on the board.
Yeah. Whoop. Thunder Valley and how we pass the time. Okay, right there.
Yeah.
So, leaving the jungle, you gotta go through the mountains. You can pass through the mountains and into this place called Thunder Valley. It's called Thunder Valley because almost the entire year it's filled with thunderstorms. There's probably only a couple of good weeks of weather to travel through, which people try to aim for that, but we were in a rush, so we didn't. And we had to find shelter and wait out some of the worst storms and flooding a lot. And so to pass the time, we found a cave to hide out from one of the storms, and we built a little fire with a bit of kindling that we were able to dry. We decided to tell spooky stories to each other.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I don't think Paloma's particularly good at telling spooky stories. I don't think she has very many.
I don't think the Ash Hag intended to tell spooky stories. I think she
Yeah.
just told stories about like her actual life experience, and they're awful.
You told a story and Ilara was like, "Oh, are we telling spooky stories? Okay."
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And Lara knows some spooky. She lived by herself in a cabin in the woods, and people would only come to her for healing. So she got bored a lot with her pet panther, and so she would frequently just think of like worst case scenarios. Like, all right, so if the plague came, what would I do? And so she's thought a lot about these worst case scenario things, and she's kind of worded some of them into like a horrific story of sorts.
Paloma's stories are just all like stories of anxiety. They're like this one time, and then I was like, did I remember to turn off the oven? And this other time, I thought I was going to go hang out with someone, but actually there were a bunch of people there, and I wasn't expecting that. Stuff like that. It's just a bunch of stories that like aren't that big a deal, but clearly Paloma's like, this is the scariest thing that I could tell you.
Yeah, I think the Ash Hag stories are like very matter of fact. I don't think she like tells them that she's very gruff. Well, she's like,
And then
well,
this
this is the yeah. And then, yeah. It's like everything's very like gruff and very serious. And she sort of just tells the story of like the village that she used to live in, not in the jungle, and all the things that happened there with the high priest that was there, and just how awful, like how horrible it was to live under the thumb of this like this cult basically. She just has no love for it. Yeah.
Great. Are you satisfied with your scene, Lindy?
Yes.
Okay. Once you are satisfied with your scene, a problem occurs.
Oh, no. We're
So
all
go
telling spooky stories.
While telling spooky stories, go ahead and draw a problem card and then describe the issue at hand based on the prompt.
All right. Let's see. Uh-oh. Deadly Beauty.
Oh, great. So please describe the problem, who the problem affects, and why it must be solved with magic.
Oh, okay. So we're telling these stories. We all did a couple rounds of them, and then we found out we weren't alone in the cave. There was a beautiful person who walked out from the very back, almost as if from the shadows themselves, and was like, "Those are fantastic stories. let me tell you one of mine. And we were just enraptured by the story. The longer they told the story, the more fiendish and monster-like their appearance kind of became. And while it didn't get any less beautiful, it got a whole lot more monstrous. We were starting to be like, I think you're telling these stories from the perspective of the serial killer in this scenario. And I don't think you're human. And so it's got to be solved with magic, because this creature is obviously magical and probably won't be able to, be armed under or shoot away with normal matters and means.
Is there an element of enchantment to their stories?
Definitely. It's like we can't stop.
Right.
We just want to hear more and more, even though we see the grotesqueness kind of starting to come through.
Right. Awesome. Okay. The problem may have additional details. This one does not, fortunately. If those instructions can't be followed, then the spell automatically fails. So it's great that that's not a situation we're in. Once the problem is established, you may begin speaking the magic words. Working collectively, select which words you want to commit to the spell, and in what order. No player may commit more than one word to a spell, but at least one word must be committed to each spell. As each player contributes a word, they describe how its meaning will either help or hinder the spell. When you've completed writing your spell, the current player recites the words and describes its magic, rolling one 6-sided die for each helping word and one 4-sided die for each hindering word. And then we'll go into the possible results once we've gotten there. So let's take a look at our words.
Yeah.
Gosh, I have some words that could kind of help.
Yeah.
I could try to use Wind of the Sea to sort of push her back.
I've got Deep Sleep, Cleanse, or Rest, so we could try to cleanse and with the wind, maybe.
Well, did you say you have Deep Sleep?
I do have Deep Sleep.
We could do some kind of because I could use Creeping
Sleepy.
Chill.
Oh.
Or Death, either one.
Oh, okay.
To just
Chill or Death.
lull
That's
them into
cool.
this permanent sleep.
I have my Spirit of Calmness, which was the one I was leaning towards too.
Ooh, to lull them into a sense of calm and into a perma sleep. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna use Creeping Chill because I think Death will be useful later.
I think Creeping Chill's a good one. It would come in with the sense of calmness.
Yeah.
It's a little cold, and so then you get relaxed, and then you sleep.
So do we want to do Calmness and the Creeping Chill of Deep Sleep?
Yeah, let's do that.
I played my Calmness card, but I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is.
So is Alka your Calmness?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put that in front. All right. Now, and we're all helping, right? We're all trying to make this spell succeed. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to get serial murdered in this.
Yeah.
This cave.
Now, Lindy, this is important. It's your turn. You are the current player, so you must recite the magic words and then roll, in this case, 3d6. 1d6 for each helping word.
Okay. Alka destati yarun.
Not great.
Not good.
So there are 3 possible ways this can go.
Okay.
You can get essentially a full success, a partial success, or a failure. A full success happens if one of the dice rolls a 6, the spell is successful, and the current player describes how the problem is solved. If none of the dice rolls a 6, but one of the 4-sided dice, so one of the hindering dice, shows a 4, then the spell fails, and one of the sabotaging players, decided by whatever means seem fair, describes how the magic goes awry. Then one of the sabotaging players gets to look at the next card of the problem deck and might either discard it or put it back on top, making it the next problem. So there is a benefit to hindering. You can avoid some of the
Right.
worst problems.
Yeah.
But it does mean that the world in general gets left kind of worse than you found it. But the final result, which is what we have here, if no dice show their highest number, then the spell is weak and only partially effective. The current
Okay.
player describes how the problem is solved, but only partially or temporarily.
So do we
Okay.
have to roll the d4?
No, because no hindering dice were, or
Oh,
no
okay.
hindering words were committed.
All right.
Gotcha.
So, a weak success. I think that we kind of lulled it into relaxation, but it's not fully. It's not in a deep sleep. It's just super kind of disoriented and drowsy, and we can't stay here for the night. We have to run back out into the storms, to the Valley of Storms.
All right. Oof. Once the spell is complete, if 2 or more words were committed, which they were, the current player gifts one of the committed words to another player. All other words committed to the spell are then lost. We turn them over. So you get to pick one of these words to gift to either Jolie or myself.
Ooh. Okay. So we had creeping chill, deep sleep, and calming aura. Let's go with it was a calming aura, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that one could come in handy, so let's give Elka to Paloma, I think.
I think Paloma could use it, honestly. Given her clear anxiety. So
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
It's
like,
Laura. So does this look like, does the calm like wash over Paloma as we're gathering our things and leaving? Like Paloma's super like nervous and kind of freaking out as she tries to pack all of her things, and then this like washes over and she
like be fine in the room.
The way I imagine these words is that there's a literal ghost, like a spirit. So it would have been like the spirit of like the priestess that I had my revenge on.
All right. That's kind of awesome, but also creepy. So, like, the two of you see this ghost, like, place a hand on Paloma's shoulder and then fade away. And like, Paloma's shoulders drop several inches.
Paloma possessed. That's cool. Let's go out of the rain, guys.
All right. I will take that word. We discard the problem card, and then you, Lindy, current player places the location card in front of them. In this case, you can just take that card, and it will be used for end of game stuff.
Okay.
Discard the problem card, and your turn ends. I'm going to draw the location card, but we're not going to do anything with it yet. Let's see. The location card says Hunter's Peak, a new companion.
I like how we're going through the mountains. We have a valley and then a peak. That's really cool.
Yeah.
We are at the top of an hour, so we're going to step away to our first break of the evening, and when we return, we will find out who this new companion is. See you soon. Hello, and welcome back to Spoken Magic, Hunter's Peak. Hunter's Peak, a new companion. So I think Hunter's Peak, is actually where we go after leaving the cave, when we realize we can't go through this valley. We need to go along the mountain range. But there's this one peak that is sort of at the center, the border of a couple different areas, one of which is the Jungle of the Panther Queen, the other obviously being Thunder Valley, and its access to all these different places makes it a favorite of hunters, because it's easy to go place to place, gather materials, gather pelts, that sort of stuff, and then move on to trade. And it's structured in such a way, or it's been weathered in such a way that it forms sort of a flat wall rather than a pointed peak. I'm thinking I can see the clear image in my mind of these mountains in real life, and I don't remember where in the world they are, but it's like this sheer flat surface, and then people have built up like cabins and stuff in these places. And I think as we're going through, we stop at one point in like a small village maybe that's up here, and Paloma goes to the local tavern and ends up making a friend. She, talks to this guy and they hit it off really well. And he asks a bunch of questions like, "Oh, where are you from? Where are you going? What's the plan?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm wandering with these two people, and we're just sort of taking things as they come and whatnot." He's like, "Oh, really? That's basically what I'm doing too. How about I join you?" And Paloma is just ecstatic, right? She just met this guy. He seems really nice. And I think Ulara has a slightly different reaction when Paloma comes back to the other two with Ricardo.
Oh no!
What does Ulara do?
Well, Ricardo doesn't know that Ulara knows about his banditry.
Mm-hmm.
So I think her eyes just go for a second. And then, Ricardo! It's so great to see you! It's been a couple years. You never came back to visit.
Well, it's I hadn't realized so much time had passed. Time flies when you're having fun, as I say.
Really? And now we meet you here of all places. What a crazy random happenstance.
And Paloma's just like, you two know each other?
Yeah. Ricardo here was on the brink of death, and I just...
It's true.
Fixed him right up. Send him back into the world.
I had, sort of an unfortunate turn, when a group of bandits attacked a village near the jungle of Panther Queen,
and
but...
I think the ash hag sees the look, like she gives him a look over, while Ricardo's talking of, yeah. The help me eyes, like he's saying lies.
But Ulara, being an amazing healer, got me back to tip-top shape, and here I am, traveling the world again. And Paloma's just like, well, Ricardo and I were just talking back at the tavern, and we were like, well, since the three of us are just sort of journeying, and Ricardo's sort of journeying, and we're just sort of like seeing where life takes us, why not travel together? I mean, force company or something?
Laura's thinking, we could not associate ourselves with him or travel with him and try to claim personal responsibility for his actions and get him to stop.
And Paloma just gives you this brightest smile, but you can see there's a little tremble at the corner of her mouth that's like, please, I need this.
I think the ash hag's like, what do you bring to the table?
Oh, I didn't know it was that kind of party. Well, I wouldn't say that I'm the best with a sword, as Laura can attest to, but I can take care of myself. I've been traveling these lands for several years now, and I'm familiar with the terrain, plants and animals around.
So you're self-sufficient?
I am. I'm not looking for handouts. I just thought it might make the road a little less lonely.
Good, because I'm not giving any handouts.
Paloma just looks at you. Ash! I'm sorry. Don't mind her. She's creepy.
Grumpy.
Well, I mean, if you want to come along, Ricardo, I don't see why that would be a problem.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I think this is a good time.
The Ash hag just like shrugs, like I don't really care as long as you don't get in my way.
Let's see what problem we face.
Uh-oh.
Good. The path erased.
Oh.
If the spell fails, all participating players must discard a location card. So that's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's just me.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, hold on. Might have additional instructions if the instructions cannot be followed. Okay, so we just need to not fail this card.
Okay.
Which is good. That's fine.
That's cool.
So the path erased. What's the problem here? Who is affected? Why can it only be solved with magic? I think there's just like one trail that goes through like across this peak.
Okay.
That everyone sort of takes. That's why we're in this village. Is it's just sort of sprouted up in this place. But a particularly bad blizzard blows through, and just covers the mountain in snow. So there's like the path is quite literally erased. There's no, like, all of the markers are buried. There have definitely been rock slides and avalanches. It's unsure if a new path can even be made until the snow melts. So I think the problem is that there's no way down off of this mountain. It affects us, obviously, but, like, I mean, let's be real, we could probably fly if we wanted to. We're powerful magic users. But more importantly, it affects everyone who lives here, since a lot of these homes are, like, temporary homes. They're not the permanent residence of these people, and it's not a super self-sufficient community. It relies on trade. So, and I think the problem could be solved with time, theoretically, but more time than people really have, and that's why it needs to be solved with magic. So, what do we got?
Well, I don't think chill will come in handy here. Blizzard. I have Long River, like, because water can cut through ice and snow sometimes. Or Cleanse.
I have Conflagration. We could do, like, a long river of fire to carve out a new road.
Ooh, that's really cool.
Okay.
What about you, Jolie?
I guess I could use my Spirit of Weakness to, like, weaken the coldness or the iciness of the snow. It's like the only one that really even remotely makes sense.
That seems like a little bit of a stretch to me, I think. You don't have to commit a word if you don't want to.
Then I won't.
Have one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't.
Committing a word is optional. There just needs to be at least one.
Okay.
Long River.
Yeah. I'm not going to.
Conflagration.
All right. Go ahead and what's your Long River there, Lindy?
Anduin.
Please share your Long River with the chat.
There it is.
Thank you.
Anduin.
So, this blizzard comes through, and, like, we come out of the inn the next day ready to, like, head on our way, and there just is no path. And Paloma's kind of like, I was I was kind of banking on this new social contact not really having anywhere else to go so that we could have forced social interaction and we could be friends. And I'm a little worried now.
And Laura's like, let's get away from all these innocent lives, civilians and people.
Yeah, all these people that say like a bandit could kill. Just an idea. Theoretically.
It's like, people stuck here in a cabin in the woods. It's like, the perfect murder scenario or something. Let's hope we don't all get cabin fever.
Meanwhile, the Ash Hag is like, death can wait. Revenge.
I think the Ash Hag's like, I'm just gonna trudge through this snow. She's like, well.
I guess this will do.
Which is why she's not contributing any magic. She's like, I guess we're just gonna walk through it.
And so Paloma turns to Ricardo and is like, this isn't really that big of a problem. I'm sure Ulara and we can work something out.
We can work it out.
She
Hurry
just
up,
like
slowpokes.
grabs your hand and pulls you forward to like the edge of the town. Yep. And then together.
And if it's just the two of us, we'll be like, I have to warn you about Ricardo.
Just hold on. Just help me with the spell.
Alright, tell you afterwards.
And Paloma holds out a hand and says, Andun Relbor. And with the first word, you see this pulse in the snow that like flattens out a circle around us. And then this small like mote of fire appears on Paloma's hand. And let's see how well this spell goes. So I roll 2d6. Fingers crossed. Nope.
You got a 4.
Not quite. So this this
forced social interaction.
This mote of fire appears, and then it flares into this huge blast of fire that rips down the mountain. And rather than like melting the snow and revealing the previous path, it just carves this huge circular hole in the mountain, essentially. And if we go fast, we can probably get down before some of the rocks start falling.
For the avalanche? Let's go. Okay.
So I think the problem is solved temporarily. We have a path, but I don't know that there will be a path when we reach the bottom. So yeah. Oh shit. And I can gift either a long river or conflagration. I want to give you back your word.
Okay.
Ulara, because I think because Paloma's just not really listening to Ulara. Paloma is just like, yes, that's nice. Okay, let's go. And so it's just not fully incorporated into the spell, and it comes back to you.
Okay.
So go ahead and take Andun back. I'll discard the problem. I will take Hunter's Peak, and then the happy four of us continue on our way. And Jolie, it's your turn. Where do we go next?
All right. Desert of Lost Bones.
Oh no.
Why we made this?
Well, the conflagration.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
Well, what's the valley on this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the subheading for it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to do something with that as well? Like take that into consideration.
Yeah. So the name of the location is the place, and then there's a little descriptor prompt that tells you what your scene should be about.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we travel a couple days. Like I think there's a bit of a time skip here.
Okay.
And yeah, on the other like typically on the other side of mountain ranges, there typically are like semi-arid or arid areas, so it makes sense that there would be a desert on the other side of this mountain. Um, I think. Let me see. Give me a moment to think about this. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think maybe not unlike our panther goddess, there have been other like god creatures, but and this is the place where maybe there's a war between all of these god animals like millennia ago.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them died here, and so what's left are these like massive animal bones littered throughout this desert. And there are villages sort of like speckled throughout the desert. And they typically use the bones to construct pieces of their villages. Why we made this?
Someone's living in a giant deer skull.
Yeah.
Love it.
I think the why we made this actually refers to to a village that we come upon.
Oh, okay.
And when we get to the village, there is there. It looks like the people are quite busy, and they're actually constructing still. And we see sort of in the distance, there's like a group of them dragging this giant like talon or something like through the sand. And it looks like they're just recently like have been working on this like settlement. And when some of them see us, they start shouting to each other, and they get kind of nervous. And so a bunch of them come out with weapons drawn towards us, and they say, "We don't want any trouble." And I think that's how we're greeted by them.
I look over at Carl.
We don't want any trouble either.
Nope.
Right?
Just passing through. Yeah, and I think one of them says, "Are you bandits?"
No.
No.
Ricardo just says, "Of course not. I mean, look at us."
Yep.
Yeah, and I think this sort of like this one person that's speaking is probably their elder, and she's probably like in her like late 50s, and she steps a little bit forward. She says, "The bandits destroyed our last settlement, and we had to flee."
I glance over at Ricardo.
That's terrible.
Awful.
I'm sorry.
I'm very sorry.
I think the ash hag says something like, "Do you know where they went?" And
Ricardo would probably say something like, "I mean, tracking in the desert is just so difficult with the sand shifting around."
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It's why they would attack a village out here, given how hard it would be to track them down afterward. Just
And the leader says, "It's not the first time we've had to move."
Well, hopefully it's the last.
She says, "Yes, I hope, but I'm sure they'll find us again."
Well, maybe. I know you've just moved in here, but if you can travel a couple more weeks, the jungle of the Panther. Okay, maybe 2 more months. The jungle of the Panther Queen is
Very hospitable.
yeah. As long as you don't cause any trouble.
I've heard that place is dark.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
you just
it's
light a candle.
nighttime. Yeah, just get your eyes adjust to the moon after a little while.
And she shakes her head. She says, "No, we've always been people of the sand."
Okay, well, Ricardo, if
Yes.
how would people deter bandits here? What would be some good fortifications?
Well, I wouldn't know.
I mean, you just see. I mean,
if I-
the sand makes them hard to try. You can't think about it. What would make a bandit's life difficult?
if I were to just try and guess, again, I am no siege engineer.
No expert.
But probably some walls.
Yeah. Okay.
Would help.
Yep.
If they can just sort of walk in, it makes the town a little enticing, I would guess. And lookout towers.
I think the ash hag pipes up and she's like, "Or how about booby traps? If they're dead, they won't come back."
That's he swallows hard. That's an idea. Yeah.
We could go with all of the above. Just help you.
We could help you.
Yeah.
I don't know if making traps that kill people is really.
But walls and watchtowers, those are two good, solid, easy starting points.
That's true. Those are good ideas, Ricardo. Thank you. You're so helpful.
And I think the leader nods and says, "If you help us, you can stay here for as long as you need."
That's so generous of you. I don't think we can stay too long, but we should definitely help you get some walls up. Don't you think, Ricardo? These seem like such nice people who've had such a hard time in life.
I mean,
The
who
least
hasn't?
we can do.
But yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. So I think we set to work.
Building some walls and watchtowers.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with your scene?
I am. Yeah.
What problem faces us?
The ash hag is definitely
If it's
setting
bandits, I'm gonna laugh.
traps.
Yeah, I think Laura would help. Like, we can't show Ricardo. We can't tell Ricardo where they.
So, what kind of traps were you making today, and where did you put them? An ancient curse. One word must be profane or hindering.
Oh my.
None of us have profane words. As
no.
far as I know, so.
No. I'm guessing we would know if they were profane.
Yeah, one of the
Right.
arcanum is your words are profane.
Aha.
Okay.
Well, I've got rest, mending, long river, chill, and cleanse.
So I think.
Well, but what's the problem, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think what happens is that I think the ash hag goes with a couple of them to find more bones for the construction, and we
Good.
find like a humanoid finger, a very large finger that we're like, this could be perfect for a tower. So there's like probably a group of like 12 of us that are dragging this giant finger bone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the finger has an old ring, that has like an old ring.
I'm just picturing
Lindy!
a bony stone wall, like these bones, and then just a finger sticking up like a watchtower. Sorry.
And the finger bone has a ring on it. And so when we bring it back, I think we spend the rest of the afternoon setting up stuff, and it's getting late later on into the evening. When I'm trying to think of what this curse is. I think at night we notice that the ring has like a luminescence to it.
Ooh.
And I think the group. What could this be?
Do you want suggestions?
Yeah. I have a couple vague ideas, but
What if instead of it being cursed, what if you use it to cast a curse?
Ooh.
ooh.
What if the problem is you're trying to like set a protective curse, like anyone who attacks the settlement?
Who's a bandit?
This is the booby trap?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like activate it,
Mm-hmm.
even though I don't know what it does.
Probably something horrible.
Yeah.
They're
I
think
bandits.
the-
They deserved it.
I think the problem then would be like trying to set up the curse so it doesn't harm the people here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that.
All right. So I have.
Trying to turn a curse into a boon, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm. So let me. Calming aura. I could use. That
I
was
have-
that was Alka, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleanse or mending. Or rest. Probably cleanse or mending.
I could see cleanse.
Yeah. To like make sure it doesn't affect the inside of the town.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think I'm gonna play. I have to play. Someone has to play hindering card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh right, I forgot.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
I can play a hindering card.
I can
Okay.
also.
Probably want more than one good card though. Like
Right.
2 good cards and 1 hindering card.
Yeah.
I was
So it's
thinking Paloma could contribute a hindering word because she's not a super big fan of horrible death curses.
uh-huh.
But what do you have? What do you have, Jolie? For the ash?
For the curse.
I
I have cleanse. Keep the inside of the town safe. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So I guess my options are really do something to keep the people safe.
Or to target harm the outsiders.
Yeah.
Don't you have violence? We could do like cleanse
Yeah.
violence.
Ooh, can we? Yeah, that's kind of cool if we combine the words.
Yeah, you could do cleanse violence, and then I think I want to use stone.
Yeah. Okay. I'll play my violence as like a helping.
Okay, yeah,
Word
because
thing.
violence doesn't have to be.
Because So we're
Yeah.
flipping it. So we're cleansing
Mhm.
violence. Gotcha.
Yeah, I want to use Quadrionis. I want to use stone as a hindering word.
Okay.
To petrify this ring and stop the curse. It's just not
Okay.
very nice.
Right. Should be making booby traps.
So is it cleanse violence and then stone?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
So then Jolie, go ahead and which one's cleanse?
Ezra.
Ezra? Okay.
Mhm.
So Julie, as the current player, you get to recite the magic words and then describe the magic of the spell before you roll to see how it ultimately goes.
The one thing I'm wondering is, so even though one of the words is hindering, it's still part of the spell, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't
'Cause,
necessarily know if it's hindering
Yeah.
in character.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the ash hag sort of stands back and sort of, I think she actually puts her hand on the ring to do this.
Ooh, bold.
Um,
I like it.
Bold move.
Yeah.
Good enough.
And then she says, "Iser Geror Quadronius." And I think it mostly just looks like a pulse of like energy that makes all of the sand kind of like blast outwards.
Mhm.
And then I think I want to see how the roll goes before
Yeah.
I describe any more of it.
So you roll 2d6 and 1d4.
Okay.
Can I do that all in one command?
Yep, you can just do /R 2d6 plus 1d4.
Plus 1d4. Okay.
All right, it is a middling effective. No dice show their highest number. The spell is weak and only partially effective. The current player describes how the problem is solved, but only partially or temporarily.
Yeah. So I think the way that the spell works is that the pulse spreads far. As far as we can see, it spreads across the entire desert, which was sort of what the Ash Hag had in mind, to sort of purge human violence from the desert. So I think what happens is that it's going to protect these people from the bandits because no person can commit violence anymore in the desert. But I think they might have issues with animals.
No, no,
Oh, no.
oh no!
And since they can't perform violence to defend themselves, this is probably a doomed settlement.
Oh,
Oh, no.
God.
But hey, you never gotta worry about bandits again.
Yeah, no more bandits.
We don't have to worry about Ricardo in this desert now.
I don't know
That's
why
really-
why do you keep bringing me up?
She doesn't say that out loud.
Oof. All right.
They don't know that.
No.
I don't even think the Ash Hag knows that.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us do. I think
Mhm.
that
She's
might be
like, "That's
something
not
we
my hand."
find
She's
out.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
All right, pick a word to gift.
Okay. I think I want to give Jaror. Do I want to give Jaror? Yeah. Do I have to explain why?
You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Jaror to oh my gosh, Ulara.
Oh,
Ooh.
Snap. okay. Write that down.
And Ezra was yours, right, Lindy?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, your words have all ended up gifted so far, Jolie.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, because there are none in your discard. All right, and go ahead and take the location card for yourself.
Okay. Can I right click on it or? Oh, there
Yep.
we go.
Yeah,
You should be able to
right click,
right-click,
take.
take. Yeah. And Lindy,
All right.
where does Ulara take us to?
Let's see. One card, please. Scroll.
You can also just click and
Ooh.
drag out of the deck onto the table.
Okay, cool. The Salt Cliffs.
Ooh.
Making camp.
Fun.
Okay. So, traveled through the Storm Valley, or Thunder Valley, to the Hunter's Peak, through the Desert of Bones, to the Salt Cliff. There's a reason this desert's so parched. You know, a lot of salt on these cliffs. But the Salt Cliffs are especially salt because they're up against an ocean.
Ooh.
So, they're the salt cliffs of next to an ocean, and we've been traveling a long time. We haven't made camp a whole lot. We've been staying kind of maybe going from village to village. And so this is the first time we're really having to hunker down and make camp for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Ricardo with us now. Of course. And Ulara is a little I think now that we're at the desert, we should just enjoy being out in nature. Why look for another settlement when we have these perfectly lovely salt cliffs right here? And, they're on the way where we're going. And, it's fine. And it'll give us, a good test to flex out our survival skills in case we get someplace, it's even less hospitable. And so they're just kind of, I think they find maybe they had to traverse down the cliffs, down to the coast. To travel along the coast, and so it's really tiring, and the salt's a little bit crumbly, so it takes us a long time to get down, and so we're kind of on a cliff halfway up the main cliffs where we're making camp, and so we're having to like anchor things down in case there's a breeze or something, because none of us want to roll off the cliff in the middle of the night.
I think at some point, Paloma's like, hey, Ricardo, why don't you come help me find some firewood? And he is like, oh, of course, yes. And
we're on cliffs. I bet you can go down and get some driftwood right there, rather than going all the way over that little clump of trees just right below us. I see there's a few. This is a driftwood there. Just looking at Paloma like you're gonna get murdered in this woods.
Paloma totally misses it. Ricardo would say, like, well, I mean, you never know with driftwood. I mean, especially down on the shore, it might still be damp, and that's not going to be good for any fire.
It would ward off mosquitoes. You know, all that smoke with these beach-side mosquitoes.
That doesn't sound very pleasant, Ulara. It's okay. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Okay. Don't be out too long.
I think as they leave, the ash hag's just staring at you, like.
I don't know how to make it to her. He's a bandit. He's murdered a lot of people.
And
that's bad.
I've murdered a lot of people.
Well, unprovokedly to steal their stuff?
No, they deserved it.
Oh, well, see, he's murdering, like, innocent people in a village, women, children, all that stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Well, then we need to kill him.
Oh, I don't know, I don't think, I've heard this phrase, that violence begets violence, so maybe if we just keep an eye on him.
Yeah, but he can't beget violence if he's dead.
Oh, that's very true. I don't know. There's a lot of history between me and Ricardo, and I just don't know how to feel about killing him. He lived with me for like 2 months. He was almost dead, and I put a lot of work into that. I don't want to just kill it, even though he's put it all away. I'm very conflicted about all that. Wow. I have a type, and it's bad. Okay.
Okay, Ulara. Tell me what you would like to do then. About Ricardo.
We'll keep murder on the table. Maybe he's changed. Maybe he's reformed. He did help us build the anti-banditry in the desert. So let's just keep an eye on him. And if he looks like he's about to shank some innocent people, then we'll just take him out. How about that?
Why is he traveling with us?
I think Paloma's more desperate than I am.
I don't like this.
I'm sorry. Just got dragged into all this drama. I don't usually. This is like literally the only drama I've had in my life. I'm a hermit.
Would you feel more comfortable if we turned him into the authorities when we find some authorities?
I mean, maybe. It's been I'll think about it. I will just monitor and damage control.
Or murder him.
Or murder him, because he might be a changed man. I'm too scared.
Hey, what are we all talking about?
Oh, hi! We're talking about dinner.
Murder.
Oh.
What's murder for dinner?
Grizzly.
Do you want fish, crab, hung in the little patch of trees over there? Seagull? There's a lot of seagulls.
I don't know. We found some berries. Look at these! Well, it's got like a basket of wild berries. Are you satisfied with your scene?
Yeah, let's just berries it. That sounds great. So you didn't have a non-violent dinner. Let's see what our problem is now. Well, I could just drag him.
Yeah. Ooh.
How do I read it? Here we go.
A
A
prophecy
prophecy
fulfilled.
fulfilled. Oh
What?
no. Oh no. Okay. Gosh. Okay. A prophecy fulfilled. Making camp on the salt cliffs with Ricardo the AX bandit and a bunch of berries. Ooh. Okay. Maybe there's a prophecy
Mhm.
involving the salt cliffs. The salt cliffs have been, maybe they were once, there's a lot of carving in them of like an old civilization that used to live here. But then the cliffs were turned to salt. They used to be regular cliffs, but there was like a curse that was placed on them by the ocean deity of the area, and they turned the cliffs to salt until someone came who would return the salt to the sea. And maybe we're those people, we just don't know it. And we've gotten here, and like the cliffs kind of begin to tremble, and like the excess salt that's kind of built up around all the carvings kind of just flakes off, and we're seeing like this civilization kind of unearthed.
Okay, so what's the problem? What do we need to
Let's see.
solve?
Okay. Problem. I think the problem is that we're camping on these cliffs that are falling back into the sea.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I think we know who this affects. Us.
Us.
And it seems pretty clear why it can only be solved with magic.
We're like, yeah, like maybe this booming voice echoes out. We're like, oh, and then it starts shaking. We're just like, oh, and it's bad. So, let me see what I got.
Alright, let's see. I used Alka last turn. No, Quadrionis. Oh god. I want to use Wind of the Sea because we're at the ocean.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I have mending.
Ooh, we could like use the wind to mend the cliffs.
The cliff that we're on, yeah. Well, all the rest of it just falls into the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like revealing a once.
Yeah. Because, we're on the ocean, just extra salts build up over the centuries, and so now we're seeing these carvings and stuff. They're all starting.
Okay, so
salt's crumbling away to the sea.
Mending
I'm using Mending and Wind of the Sea are the two that we're looking at using.
Okay. To put the salt back.
Mm-hmm.
At least the salt that we're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the rest of the salt can go back to the sea, but specifically where we're camping at might be good to have that there. So, good ways up in the air.
I think the Ash Hag is fascinated by this civilization being revealed, so I might play a hindering card.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh no.
So I think she wants to make the salt, like the rocks, even weaker and start crumbling faster.
Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm gonna use my Spirit of Weakness
Okay.
card for that.
Okay. Let me put my winding out there. So should it be mending Wind of the Sea, or Wind of the Sea mending weakness? Or weakness Wind of the Sea mending?
I think it might be weakness first.
Yeah.
Because I think you're like infusing everything with this weakness. It's like
helping it crumble faster.
Yeah,
Like what's behind all this?
Yeah. And
Okay.
then we're like, wait, wind.
Hold
Wind and mending,
on.
please.
Okay, cool.
So say the magic words and then describe the magic and roll the dice.
1d4 plus 2d6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mechanos Hekato Dalmar. Oh,
Oh,
oh no.
shit.
We're bad. It's this bad.
You don't get to describe what happens, Lindy. If none of the dice rolls a 6, but one of the 4-sided dice shows a 4, the spell fails, and one of the sabotaging players, this being the only one in this case, describes how the magic goes awry.
Yeah, so I think we're casting and running away from the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
But I think because of my magic, the salt gets very loose to the point that it almost becomes like quicksand, and we get sucked into the
We're
sand.
getting mummified so fast.
And I think we find ourselves like sucked down into like an antechamber of an old building that was like trapped, like from the old civilization. And yeah, and I think the only way out now would be to, I think it's quite far down, almost at the level of like maybe there's a beach outside of here. So we're safe, but we can't go back the way we came. There's pretty much just water in front of us now.
Right. All right, and you can go ahead and take the top card of the problem deck. And you get to decide if you want to discard it or if you want to make it our problem next turn.
Like, sorry,
So you'll take the top card of the problem deck.
Oh, gotcha.
You have to look at it and decide if it goes bye-bye or if it's next turn.
Yeah. Oh no.
That's gonna be the next one.
Oh no.
Okay, so go ahead and hold on to that, and we'll just have you play it.
Yeah. Okay.
On the next turn. So this happens.
Yeah.
Ulara, who would you like to gift a word to?
Well, we've got Weaken, Mending, and Wind of the Sea. I think I'm gonna give Mending to Paloma.
Okay.
She tried to help, and I appreciated that effort.
That was Delmar, right?
And yeah, and maybe she just needs to mend some of her relationships issues, and that might help. Maybe she can fix Ricardo. I don't know. Maybe Ricardo doesn't need fixing. We'll find out. He hasn't bandited anybody since traveling with us, so
That's true.
maybe he's changed. It's a possibility.
All right, and go ahead and take the location card, Lindy.
All right.
And we're at the top of an hour, so I'm gonna draw this card.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Ooh. Sorceress Pass, the reason for our journey. So, we're going to step away for a couple minutes, and when we come back, we will see what this new place is and what it tells us about our journey. See you soon. Hello, and welcome back to the wrong screen. There we go. Welcome back to the Sorceress Pass. Welcome back to the Sorceress Pass and the reason for our journey. So, the Sorceress Pass, I think, is we've fallen into this antechamber, and a tunnel leads further into the stone, like underneath the desert. And like out back where we are, there's like this huge pile of salt that kind of like we can see the moonlight streaming in. We can see the outside, but to go out that way would be a whole thing. And so we decided to just sort of press on into this tunnel. And we walk for 45 minutes to an hour, I think, just down this perfectly smooth stone hallway, and then all of a sudden it opens up into this huge domed structure. Like that entire village that we were just in could fit in here. Even maybe the town in the jungles of the Panther Queen could fit in here. It's huge. But all of it is taken up, or almost all of it is taken up by this very shallow, maybe like an inch thick pool of water. And in the center is a rod, like a scepter. And Ash, you see this, and you know that it is a powerful artifact of destruction. That it could be used to destroy your enemy. What do you do?
Yeah. It's funny, before he even told me that, I was like, I'm going for this. Yeah, I think Ash sees it and just goes, that looks cool. And she like steps into the like
Wait, we don't know.
She
We
just,
don't
like,
know.
It could be cursed.
she looks at you. I'm cursed.
I guess that's fair.
But it could be more cursed.
That's true.
I'm literally the reanimation of my own corpse's ashes.
And
I don't know how much
things-
worse it'll get.
You know,
Yeah,
things can always be worse.
Uh-huh. I think Ricardo
Always someone
turns
who
and
has it worse than you.
Ricardo's like, I was curious, but I didn't want to say anything. You know, it seemed rude. As you step into this pool, you leave behind footprints, like sort of muddy, ashen footprints on the bottom of the pool. And
I never liked water. And she's like, yeah, she's walking.
And you reach the center and take hold of this rod, and I would like the problem.
Yeah.
So if you could share with the class, what's the problem this time?
Oh,
Joey?
great. I have the problem. I
You
know
do.
what it is.
You know what it is?
Something you forgot to mention.
Oh, no.
So you take hold of this rod, and Paloma goes, "Oh, well, I probably should have mentioned." And the walls shake. Like there's just one shudder. And Paloma says, I think that might be what's holding everything up, Ash. And, well, the legends maybe say that, don't take this the wrong way. And I think, like, the walls start, like, shaking in earnest now. It's not just one sudden tremble.
A little bit faster.
The legends might say that, only someone pure of heart is allowed to, hold the scepter. I don't want to make any, cast any judgments.
Yeah.
But we should probably go.
Let's go. Yep.
You want it? She just like holds it up. Is it too late? She's like looking around.
Yeah. Ricardo's like, well, what does it do? And
Not
like
you.
Not you.
Almost like, Ash, what is with you today? I think the problem is, I think we can get out safely. I don't think there's any question of that. But I think there are more treasures down here. There are centuries of history. There's so much down here that could be lost if it all goes down. And so I think
Okay.
the goal is to try and save what's here. I have mending. So
Yeah,
I could
that's
use
a good
that.
one.
I can use mending here.
I'm not going to use violence. I have chill, rest, long river, and yeah.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mine's not looking too hot.
So it might just be me.
I've got. I mean, what else is in this room?
I mean, there's like this pool. There's the huge dome. Everything's like carved stone. It's ancient.
Seduce the stone.
You
Yeah,
could seduce the scepter.
You could. Maybe
You could try and
convince it.
like convince
hey,
it that
I'm
no,
pure of
of
heart.
course, yes.
I mean, I that's not the worst idea.
I
kind of like it,
Yeah.
but I kind of want to. I want to hold on to my.
Okay.
Okay.
And we only got a couple more rounds potentially.
All right.
I'm gonna use chill to try to. It's like if everything's closing in to try to make it maybe slow down. Like cool the grinding gears.
Just
chill. Yeah.
Okay. Then I think it should be chill and then mend.
Okay. Okay.
All right. And so we're like running through and we reach the other side of this dome and Paloma looks back and it's like, oh, there's so much here. Burdalmar. And all the stone that's like coming down just slows for a moment. And Paloma's like, I think I did it. I think I did it, guys.
Let's see if
Yes!
Oh,
My headphones fell off. And the stone like stops and then pulls back into the walls and the ceiling. And as Paloma and Ulara are like excitedly yelling about what they just did, Ash, the Ash Hag, the scepter in your hand, you feel it go dormant. Not depleted, but it has been quieted and made pliable. So enjoy. And for the sake of time, we're gonna stop gifting words at the end of rounds so we can speed through a little faster. So Burr was yours, Lindy?
Mm-hmm.
Delmar was also yours.
Yes, once upon a time.
All right. So that goes back to your discard pile. I'll discard the problem.
So we have time to sort of explore because we saved the remnants.
Yeah.
We have time to sort of, can we do like a post-problem like perusal of the space?
Sure. Why not?
Because I'm liking the idea that, so we take our time to leave, and at least what the Ash Hag finds is like a large...
Oh no! Jolie could probably hear us, but yeah, we can't hear him.
Jolie, come back.
You can
There we go. I thought I was out of the woods with that. It hasn't happened in a while.
It hasn't.
Yeah, so I think what Ash finds is a large tablet depicting what, like, almost like what to do with the rod, and I think it's like an ancient war between witches and
we'll never know.
I mean, I'm assuming it's the priesthood that's been a problem.
Yeah, it's the priesthood.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Ooh, so which does this ruins and civilization belong to?
I think it belongs to the priesthood. I think
Nice.
the scepter is one of their weapons.
Well, yeah, because they have a whole city here too, so that makes yeah. And they got salted out by the ocean.
I mean, even the effect of everything getting encased in salt and stuff, I think that was an ancient curse of some kind.
Probably. And there was a prophecy to lift it, and we were there. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
We were there so that we could get the staff.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think Paloma finds anything, but I do think Ricardo finds something.
Of course he does.
Oh,
think-
God.
I think he finds a sword.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And
Oh,
he
you're
just
not very
sort of
good
like,
with that. Maybe you should.
well, I don't know. It looks nice. I figured I might hang on to it like a souvenir, sort of.
Yeah.
Clips it to his belt. Who knows? Maybe we'll run into bandits on the road or something.
That would be great. That would be surprising.
Dreadful.
Awful. I think Ulara, maybe because these were priests who lived here, maybe she finds a couple recipes on new ways to heal or things that she hasn't tried before.
Yeah.
Up her skills.
I see chat approves of my decision to give Ricardo a sword. Yeah.
Holy-
Okay. I'm happy. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
So, the Ash Hag.
Where
Where
we
does
going
this
next?
Where does this tunnel lead out?
Let's see.
Who knows?
Is this it? Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go.
Ooh,
Eerie
that makes
Tower,
sense.
that which follows.
This makes so much sense. I could make a map of this.
Oh boy. You okay, Lindy?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just really glad I finished that chocolate milk before I knocked the cup over.
Just put that down anywhere. Alright,
Yeah,
so
so-
where is this place?
I think we eventually, so we keep going deeper through like a tunnel system that's basically underneath the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get to the end of the tunnel, there is like a spiral staircase that looks like it just goes up. And so I think what this actually is a tower that's buried under the ground, but we can see sunlight at the top of the
Like it's
the
top
tower.
level.
Like
is
it
at-
looked
at
like a
ground.
hut, but it's really just a really big tower. That's
Underground tower, basically. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Is that
And
the
so
library in The Last Airbender?
Yes.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that. And when we get to the tower, there is a suit of armor that turns and just looks at us.
Eerie.
And it's sort of standing in the center of the center of the tower at the bottom of the staircase.
Hi.
Hello.
Are you
Stop
here to
from collapsing. Just past them.
Are you here to stop us? And the suit of armor doesn't do anything. It kind of just creaks.
We're just gonna
Pass through.
just Paloma starts like inching toward the
Uh-huh.
stairs.
I
Yep.
think it's like its helmet kind of like creaks and like scans the four of us, and then it sees the rod in Ash's hands, and then it just sort of nods and like takes a step backwards to sort of make space for us to go by.
Okay, we're gonna leave. Bye.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Whoop.
And so as we start going up the stairs, it turns and just starts walking up the stairs
Nice.
behind us for no reason that we
Yeah.
can discern, at least.
I think Ricardo's like, is that a good sign? Or-
Well, I think he seems very nice. You know, just chill. Following us. You followed us. Maybe this guy's following us too.
I don't know that I'd say that I followed you. That sounds a little more I don't know, malevolent than we invited him. Guys.
It's true. It's true. Yes, we're practically just all following each other, really, out here.
Yeah, I think we take a moment to like stop walking as we're like talking, and when we stop, it just quietly stops behind us and like
See?
waits for us.
Just keep them 10 paces back. It's fine.
Yeah, and then like I think Ash, like, to experiment, takes one step up, and it just goes like, "Grr, grr," and like takes one step up.
It loves Simon Says. It's been bored. It's let it have its fun.
Yeah, of course, sure. I think Ricardo just sort of like looks nervously back at him. Yeah, sure.
And then I think Ash like picks up the rod and like kind of like leans with it over, and like the armor kind of like leans. Just like, I don't think it's following us per se. And then like waves it in the other direction, and the armor just kind of like leans in the other direction.
Oh well, see, it's fine then. It's just following this. Maybe you control it now. See, you get it's like a marionette string. They're invisible.
I kind of love that idea. Yeah, and so I think she tries a couple of waves, and like the armor does kind of like, it is kind of like a marionette to this rod. Well, looks like we've got a
new companion.
A new companion.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I think we continue our ascent, and it just creaks behind us, walking up the stairs, following us.
All right.
I think that was good for the scene.
Yeah.
All right, then, not a problem.
All of a sudden.
Then,
the Ancient One will soon pass.
That's interesting.
What does that mean? Okay. Oh man. I think as we continue going up the stairs, it seems like our bodyguard, our new friend, is slowing down as it gets higher up the stairs. And it finally makes a noise, like it starts weeping, like it's crying underneath the helmet. And so we and so I think Ash pulls close to it and says,
okay?
"What's the matter?" And it's just crying for a moment. And Ash looks to the other two of you like,
"Are you okay? Did someone hurt you? Is everything all right?"
I know Ash can be kind of grumpy sometimes, but
there's really worse people you could be following. Clancer.
And this very like tinny, like I'm definitely drawing on Full Metal Alchemist.
Hell yes.
Alphonse,
yeah.
Tinny voice, like very dry, raspy though, kind of like ekes out like, I'm sworn to protect the rod, but I've been here so long, I don't know if I could make it much further.
How long have you been here? Curiosity.
For 5,000 years.
That is quite a long time.
Is that even possible?
I mean, with magic, it's possible.
Please help me. It's my duty to follow. It hurts so much, though.
Are you sure you don't want to just rest a while?
No, the further that you travel away, the more pain that I will endure. I must follow.
Ash, maybe you should just give him the rod.
And then I think the
Oh. Three, two,
Hi.
yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, the suit of armor speaks up and says, "No, it must complete its mission
What's his mission?
to enact a cleansing of the order of priests, the witch killers."
When you say cleansing, do you mean like a
Murder?
bath? Two kinds of people.
Like, because that's
Yeah.
what all Lara's been thinking about. Like, do we really have to kill people?
Yeah, and I think the knight doesn't say anything. Just and then after a moment, it just says, "Just cleansing."
Maybe they just need a vacation at Lake Laogai. You know, that's kind of cleansing.
Yeah, so I think the problem that's before us is that we could somehow heal this suit of armor to continue with us, or it will stay here in agony the further away.
Yeah, sounds real cheery. I have death.
Violence.
If one of you can sort of riff.
I
off
also have a Long River and Rest.
I got disconnected, but I'm back.
I have calm or calming. I forget what Alka was. That was calmness.
Yeah, Alka was calmness. Yeah.
So I have that or death.
I have Rest, Long River, or Violence.
Are we gonna put this thing out of its misery?
I think we are. I think we're gonna put it to rest. But hopefully in a nice, polite way.
I mean, what do you have?
I'm gonna play a hindering card.
Oh. Okay.
I'm gonna imbue it with the spirit of retribution so that it can push through its pain.
Shit. Well, we could put its mission to rest or its pain to rest.
Yeah, we could.
Or I guess it's not a hindering.
Give it
I guess
the calmness of retribution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we'll put its pain to rest with the calmness of retribution.
Yeah.
All right.
Boom. We did it. See? College taught me anything. It's that you can bullshit any answer.
But we're not using death, right?
No.
Correct. Yeah. We're using calmness. So Tiz was
Rest.
And then Hinla's retribution. Okay.
Yeah.
So say the magic words, describe the magic, and roll the bones.
Yeah, Ash puts her hands on its shoulders and sort of looks into its eyes like, "Now you listen to me. Tis Alka Hinla." And I think her hands like become almost clawed as they like imbue this like sense of like retribution within our armored friend. Everything, the whole tower, like, because there was a little bit of sunlight coming through the top, it kind of just gets really dark in here for a moment. And I'm gonna roll
3d6.
3d6.
Hoping for a 6.
Hey! We got a 6.
Hey.
It works. He's out of his pain. It's filled with retribution.
Yeah. And he takes a moment and then stands up, and his armor doesn't creak for the first time. Like it's like his all of the rust has almost sort of like melted away. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's the least we could do.
Yeah. And then Ash just goes, "Well then, what are we waiting for?" and turns.
Can there be like burning eyes in the helmet now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Eyes of vengeance.
Love it. I love the party that we're building.
But I can the flames be like
Blue?
like a cool blue, like they're
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Love
Okay, yeah,
it.
so we head out of the tower, we get to the top.
Okay, so Tiz and Alka are yours, Jolie?
Alka
No,
and
Tiz
Hinla
was
were,
mine.
Yeah, Alka and Hinla were originally mine.
Okay. Hinla, that's right. Tiz is Lindy's.
Mine.
Yeah.
I promise it is important that they go in the right discard pile. I'm just doing this to be neurotic. Okay, go ahead and take the location card, Jolie.
Yes. Okay. Having a weird time with Roll20.
What's going on?
Happens.
It like is kind of bouncing around. Oh no, it's good now. It's good.
Okay.
I fixed it. Yep.
Sweet.
Right.
Lindy.
Location?
Location.
Let's see. What do we get?
Ooh.
The Plains of Primordium, Truth
Oh
and
my God.
Illusion. We're going on an epic quest, guys.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say I love this game? Is that okay?
You are. You're allowed to love your own game.
Yes, 100%. So we get out of this tower, we ascend to the top, and immediately we feel coming from one direction a cool breeze, another one a hot breeze. The Plains of Primordium are the elementals are strongest, and they're kind of going at it. So you see like an icy tree next to a river of lava, and all sorts of just chaos going on. And it's all the primordial, the essences kind of are. Some are living in harmony, some are fighting each other. And the trick about the Plains of Primordium is that because the primeval magics are so strong here, sometimes what you see may not always be exactly how it is. So, especially for those who don't use, maybe elemental magics. So, I think that Paloma here can see through everything because
She's
you
loving
you use elemental magic, but maybe me and Ash see all sorts of stuff that's not really happening. Maybe we see like flashbacks to our past. Same with Ricardo.
I think what you guys see of Ash is the truth of Ash, and she's literally a fried walking corpse.
Jesus. If death is one of the elemental forces, is perception an elemental force? Is that what we're seeing? Is like this essence of perception is
I think so.
things?
Kind of, yeah.
Cool. Well, you're creepy.
And Paloma is immune to it because she's like, I can see the ring. It's fine because I use elemental magic.
Paloma's like, I don't know what the problem is. And Ricardo's like takes a big step away from Ash.
Laura's like,
yeah.
And I think like everyone sees Ricardo differently except for Paloma. Like I see like someone just dripping in blood from all the people that they've killed potentially. Maybe. And then it like keeps shifting between like that and someone who's like redeemed themselves. I'm like, I don't know which one's the real Ricardo. And just different things in the landscape as well are just shifting. As we have to cross it to get to our next destination.
I kind of imagine as we travel through here, we wouldn't be very chatty because we'd be all having like be tripping balls pretty much.
I think Paloma definitely is. Paloma keeps being like, "Oh, look at that elemental over there, and look at this thing."
What do you mean an elemental? That's a terrifying. That's a dragon.
Well, I mean, I guess you could interpret it that way. Well, there's some interesting theories about that, actually.
For Ash, everything is just on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything's
Great.
just on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ulara just keeps seeing everyone die, like everything dying around her, and she just wants to fix it. Yeah.
Oh. Are
And every
you
time she looks at Ricardo, it's like the one on the shelf, like Ricardo, bad Ricardo, Ricardo, bad Ricardo. She doesn't know which one it is.
we see him like turn towards you and say, "You should probably kill me," and then a second later you're like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "I didn't say anything."
Yeah, yes. Uh-huh.
I think when we look at our armored friend, he's like young. He doesn't have his helmet on, and he's like a
Yeah, he's
young,
like a young knight.
handsome knight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Are you satisfied with your scene, Lindy?
Yeah. Oh, I think Ulara looks really old and weary with the illusion
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and lonely.
Oof. Big mood. Yeah, Paloma definitely looks. Oh God, what does she look like? Because everything looks normal to her, but
she could look different. Yeah.
I think she keeps excitedly pointing these things out, and she's like super stoked on everything. But I think every time she turns back to look at you, there are tears streaming down her face.
Aww. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with that scene of her just walking across these primeval plains of hellscape. Let's see what her problem is.
Yeah.
Oh, we're already in a problem.
The Crypt King's
Plague.
What? Oh goodness.
Well, alright, so we're crossing these plains of primeval chaos, basically.
Mhm.
And the reason that these plains are so chaotic is because a king who had learned how to harness all of the elements was buried here, and it wasn't tumultuous until the plains started to fester with the plague, and it got into his crypt. And so now he kind of is just, while he's still in his crypt, everything that is under his control, he's kind of like undead now and controlling it without knowing. And the plague has infected all of the elementals in the area.
Oh. Okay.
And that's why it can't be fixed without magic.
Absolutely, obviously. So do we how do we come across this? How do we figure this out?
I think Paloma can see like the remnants of things that haven't been destroyed yet of the city that was once here. Like maybe the king's palace, the elemental king's palace was here, and you can see like certain monuments. You're like, oh wow, this is that, and then you see the crypt, and it's just overridden. You're an elemental wizard. You can tell that maybe something's off with the elements, like they're not behaving like they should.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's like this
forward.
intermingled twining like vines of ice and fire and stone that are like reaching out of the crypt.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay. I feel like death is appropriate here.
I have violence or Long River.
Can we? Can I put something on top of those two?
Maybe.
And we can seduce.
Oh.
Could we like seduce him across the long river of death?
Yes.
And like send his spirit on?
Yes. And so that the elements go back to just Yeah. I like this.
Awesome.
The long river. Death. Perfect.
And so Paloma looks at the crypt, and all of you look at it and you see the same thing, and you're all like, well, we've been tripping balls this entire fucking time.
This
and then
is
you notice
just
that, like,
Paloma's actually reacting to this one.
Yeah. And she just says, oh no. And she looks back at the group of you, and
you
like
finally see it?
You're all like on edge and like have been not doing great this entire time. She's I'm so sorry. I didn't notice. Hold on. Let's see what I can do.
Okay.
Scintilia and Dune. And
Wait,
then there's
aren't I the ones casting the spell?
Is it? Oh shit, it's your
is.
turn. I fucked up. Never mind.
Okay, you are the elemental wizard.
It's fine.
Like, alright. I'm just glad you verified that this is the situation that's in, because we're tripping here hard. So, Scintilia and Dune Ghoul? Is that a Q or a G?
It's a G.
Ghoul. I haven't scrolled up too far. Alright. And so Laura's kind of a hand on each of y'all's shoulders, and you see, you hear like pleasant music in the air as we try to seduce him past this river. Like, we've summoned forth the element of death, and if he crosses the river from his crypt, just all right. Oh!
Yeah.
3 in a row! All right.
So
What
we
happens?
play music, and we kind of contort the elements to get a river of death to run across the entire valley, and wrenching control of one of the elements from the Crypt King has him emerge, and we're able to coax him across the river with the music that maybe is coming partially from the scepter that the Aztec has.
Oh.
Yeah.
And as soon as he begins to cross the river, hands just pull him down into it, the long river of death. And as soon as he's pulled into it, the land just goes still, and the elements kind of morph and shift back to how they're supposed to be.
All right. Well, we are at the top of an hour.
You want to pull the next location? The final location?
Potentially. Well, because
Potentially.
we either
only
have one
turn.
more or we have up to 3 more turns.
3 more. Yeah.
And depending on the cards, we could actually be up to
That's
5
true.
more turns. Theoretically.
Okay, well, let's see.
So, yeah. We're not gifting words, so we skip that part. Go ahead and take the location, which is yours, because it's your turn. Not my turn.
It's all good.
We discard this. Scintilia was yours, Julie.
Yep.
Moon was yours, Lindy. And Ghoul was mine. So, where we go next, before our break, is... Oblivion. What was lost? We're going to step away for just a few minutes, and when we come back, we will see the exciting, or perhaps sad, conclusion to this journey.
Yeah.
See you soon. Hello. Welcome back to Oblivion. So, Oblivion. What was lost? Good God. Where do I think this is? I think... Ooh, I have an idea. So we finally pass out of this desert, to the lands beyond. I think there's another short mountain range that we have to pass through. And when we get to the other side, there is just a hole in the earth. This huge circular pit, and in the center of it is a black orb, and above that there sits a city, and there's like this long stone bridge that extends to either side, with the city in the center of this pit, or over the center of the pit. And I think this used to be like the sort of source of the convergence of ley lines. Like fairies lived here and witches lived here before the priesthood showed up, and with their godly magics destroyed our home. destroyed what was the home of magic and witchcraft, and in its place built their own seat of power. So I'm curious. I think we all know how the Ash Hag feels about this place, but I'm curious how Ulara feels about it.
I think she just feels sad. Like, she doesn't particularly like violence or death or murder. And she realizes that a lot of it has happened here. So she doesn't take it out as anger against the priests. More as just a sense of loss and mourning for the witches, sorceress that perished.
And I think we can see Ricardo is like visibly uncomfortable because like all three of us are having this reaction. Paloma is similarly sad. I think she'd been sort of talking a lot as we went. She got fired up by the planes, but she just got very quiet when we got here. And so I think Ricardo's in this like something has happened that I don't have context for, and so he's just being like really like on edge. And I think I just want to draw a problem pretty much straight off.
Okay, yeah.
The Great Herd. Ooh. Oh. I don't know how useful our words will be, but I know what the problem is.
Okay.
So, as we arrive here, the gates of oblivion open, and we can hear the pounding, the thunder of many hooves as the cavalry of oblivion, the army of the priesthood known as the Great Herd, rides out to meet us, having sensed the presence of the rod. And I think the problem is that there's a fucking army.
And there's 4 of us.
There's like 5?
There's Ricardo.
5
yeah,
if you include armor.
4 of us, 5 if you include Ricardo.
Yeah. I think there's this army and we could run, but I don't think any of us want to.
I don't think we can. We have to stay. We have to stand.
I think like Paloma was looking for people who wanted her around, but she was more than that, looking for a sense of belonging. And in this place, she feels this grief for somewhere where she would have belonged, where she would have felt at home, that was destroyed. And not just destroyed, but like the corpse of it became a home for its destroyer. And she just wants to tear it down. So I have one word. Oh, and it's actually useful. Great.
I do too, and it is useful.
I have.
So Alara's also extra sad because she doesn't grieving what was here, but she also knows that she can only resort to violence.
Ooh. All right. I have the flash of lightning.
Oh man.
Ooh.
What do you have, Jolie?
I think I know how I want to spin this last word.
Okay.
But can I give some like narrative context?
Yeah.
So I think Ash steps forward, seeing this like cavalry, and she like clears her throat and she says, "For too long you've destroyed our people, because you've been afraid of us, but you have also coveted our power. And if you denounce your ways, that power could be yours as well. The power like this. And she like raises the kind of like a like denounce your ways and join us and become witches. And so my word is jealousy. And so
Yes.
I think combining our powers, like it'd be cool if we had like a violent lightning storm and they're just like in utter awe.
Jealous. Just so
and
jealous.
of the power that we have.
And that's why they destroyed us in the first place, because they were jealous.
Is it like maybe it's depending on how the spell goes, I suppose, either like violent flash of lightning strike the jealous, or violent flash of lightning instill jealousy.
I think destroy the jealous, because like if they still want to destroy us, it's because they're jealous. But if they join us, they'll have it.
That's a good point.
So they don't have a reason to be jealous.
It's a good point. So you hold up this rod, and like the wind begins to whip about, and all of the I think they ride on like elk instead of horses, and that's why they're called the Great Herd. All of these animals begin shifting around uncomfortably, and there's like a taste of iron and copper in the air.
All our hair starts to stand up. And static.
But then Paloma steps forward, and you can see that there's crackling lightning in her eyes, and her voice comes out, and it's not just her voice, it's like hundreds of voices. It's all of these spirits of the slain witches that call out, Juror, Lay, Kefris, and...
Six!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And there's a boom of thunder that shakes the stone foundations of the world. This lightning strikes down on the city of Oblivion, and it explodes in fire. Lightning arcs down the armored forms of these knights, bringing death to those that still harbor hatred, and sparing those that don't. And the city crumbles and falls down to the black orb. And then the orb sort of twists and bulges and begins to rotate and flatten out and fills the space, fills the void, what was once Oblivion. And the trees and the plants and the animals don't come back, but the land does. This part of our world, this place that was once our home. The ley lines deep beneath reconnect. And even if it's not our home now, maybe someday it will be. And when we look back, I think Armor is kneeling before the Ash Hag in sort of like this show of fealty. But I think Ricardo is gone. And all that's left is a sword, faintly smoking. Okay. So.
Laura is sad, yet relieved.
After the last words are used to cast a spell, no more cards are drawn. Each player takes an additional turn to share what they learned about magic over the course of the journey. So, why don't we start with you, Lindy?
What Lara learned about magic over the course of the journey. That violence is sometimes necessary. Sometimes you gotta do violence. So that sometimes violence and death are sometimes necessary. She didn't want to believe it. She just wants to heal. She wants everybody to get along, but sometimes that just can't happen. So she's kind of learned to accept that.
I think Paloma learned that that you can't use magic to make people like you, right? Like, you can't use power to make people want you around. And that magic should be used to help those that appreciate you, not to try and pull people toward you. And I think she realizes that she already had 2 friends, right? She didn't need to try and force something with this guy who was going to try and kill her.
Who's just waiting.
Yeah.
Just biding his time.
So yeah, I think that's what Paloma learned. What about the Ash Hag?
I think the Ash Hag learned that magic works way better when you have your sisters with you and you're not trying to do it alone.
Absolutely.
I think Ulara takes Ricardo's sword.
Ooh.
As yeah, I've learned this. So she takes this.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Ash Hag has been out on missions before on her own, and they've never been successful, really. So, yeah.
Okay. Next, we will go around in reverse order. So, starting with me, because I took the most recent turn, playing your location cards and describing what you see as you take the path home. So here in Oblivion, obviously we see the new land. We see the death, or what remains of Ricardo. But I think the knights that were spared, what few people had some compassion, I think they stay. I think they stay to try and resettle the land. Yeah. And if it's all right with you, Jolie, I think Armor stays too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To like guard the pathway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Lindy.
All right. So we're retracing. So we're going back to the plains of Primordium now. So we come back, and as we travel back through, everything has become much more tranquil. They're not in turmoil anymore. The elements are kind of each divided into sections. They up against each other rather than trying to merge like they're in a natural way. They've kind of just gone back to being how they should. And I think the elements have also reclaimed what was once the tomb of the king that was there. All you can see left is who once rested here, but rocks have reclaimed it. There's now a waterfall, flowers growing up next to it, and it's much more tranquil. You feel really in tune with the elements rather than chaos, and it's more truth and no more illusion now. The illusion's been broken.
Awesome. Go ahead and play your card down. And,
okay.
Jolie.
So when we get to where the tower was, all of the like sand and salt has completely disappeared into the ocean. So the tower is actually completely out of the ground now.
Oh.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all sort of like washed away. So we don't actually have to start at the top. We can just enter the tower from
Hmm.
the bottom. And I think when we get inside, we see like two rusty footprints like that we didn't notice the first time
Uh-huh.
we went through.
Mm-hmm.
And just like take a moment to like think about our good friend Armor that followed us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It.
The tunnely thing. It was.
Yeah. The pass.
Yeah, the Sorcerer's Pass.
I think that was this card. There's really small text on.
I know.
Okay. Sorceress Pass. So as we walk back through, there's no tunnel to walk through. It's just like this open city that we walk through, and we arrive at this huge dome with the pool in the center, and now that it's uncovered, we can see that the dome is actually like a lot of it's stonework, but it has these windows and glass in it, and the sun filters down into the pool to where it gets like reflected out onto the walls to give color to the carvings.
Mm-hmm.
And Paloma walks out into the center of the pool and bows her head and says a few words, and some of the water rises up out of the pool and forms into this icy, crystalline scepter.
Nice.
And she comes back and says, I think. She looks at the scepter of destruction that you have, Ashhag. I wanted to leave something that was meant for making things. And she walks on.
I think the Ashhag has a moment of like, do I put this back? And then she thinks better of it. She's like, no.
I think Alara kind of just taps her sword a little bit, kind of looks around like, yep. And then we get back to the salt cliffs, and they're not there anymore. They fell into the sea. I think that's caused the level of the sea to rise a bit. And because all returning back into the ocean. So instead of it, the entrance to this pass being kind of a bit up the cliff face, there's now a beach, like right where the entrance is, and there's a boat that's kind of pulled in and docked, and people are looking at all of the carvings and sculptures that haven't been seen in thousands of years. Discovering a new place. I'm like, yeah. Place, big deal, we uncovered it. Careful in there. But plenty of real estate. Yeah, a lot of salt. But plenty of real estate, so and so we kind of give them some words of warning.
Don't move the rod on the dome.
Don't do it. It's a trap. The whole place. Yeah, and then we keep going.
Yeah. So we get back through the desert, and
we did a real good job here.
We did so good. Bandits will never be a problem again.
Oh god, how dark do I want this to be? Yeah, we come back to the settlement and see that we've royally fucked up. and like it looks like what's left of the people that are here. It looks like they didn't even put up
A fight.
fight.
And there's like vultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And like coyotes.
Yeah, like there's no sign of struggle
Yeah.
at all, and they're just all dead.
Yikes.
I like how we were feeling really good on the way home.
Okay.
Yes, and we're just like, oh.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to get a whole lot better.
Yeah, we fucked up a lot at first.
We did. We got better as we went.
We didn't do great at Hunter's Peak either. So...
Hell yeah. The mountain path.
So the path
Yeah.
was temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. An avalanche.
A new path was made while we were gone. And that's what we take back up to the village. But we noticed some missing faces. Some empty houses. The village is still here, but not everyone made it. And I think that weighs pretty heavy on Paloma.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of feels like maybe she was too hasty. And that she needs to learn to like slow down and consider things. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thunder Valley. We didn't fuck that one up too bad, to be fair.
Nah.
Well,
We just had to boogie.
We just had to boogie.
you
Yeah.
just have a friend that probably isn't calm anymore.
Well, that or they were too calm and something else took them out. I'm debating.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think that was Boogeyman of Thunder Valley.
Mm-hmm.
But sensing weakness, maybe something darker.
Ooh, what if it's like a giant serpent?
Yes. A giant. So now there's a new boogeyman, and because it consumed the old one, and it's sensed weakness, and it struck. Like maybe they were kind of rivals, but the other one was top dog, and now it's risen in the ranks. So we just have to boogie our way around that.
Just slither on through.
Slither on through. Don't worry about us. Nothing to see here. We're good.
Back to the jungle of the Panther Queen, our home. And so, when you arrive home, sit in silence. Maintaining this silence, every player writes a short phrase on their card that starts with, "My words are," to indicate how their words have changed through sharing. So we're gonna do this in silence. Just type OK in the Zoom chat when you're done and ready to move on.
Gotcha.
All right. The game is now over. And that, my friends, is spoken magic.
Cool.
So thank you all so much for joining us. We went long, as happens pretty much every time we play spoken magic. I don't think I've played a single game of spoken magic that went the amount of time it was supposed to. Yeah, and I hope that you enjoyed this. But before we go, let's do some shoutouts. I don't have shoutout screens for this overlay, so I'm sorry. You're gonna have to actually say your links and stuff. But Jolie, especially because you have a new show coming up, please tell the good people where they can find you.
Yeah, so I'm Jolie. You can find me on Twitter at JolieOlio. So last year I really wanted to start streaming, and it was like a thing that I wanted to get off the ground. And I started a channel called Pen and Paper Pals. That's here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Pen Paper Pals. There's no and in the name of that. But you can also follow you can follow Pen and Paper Pals on Twitter at Pen and Paper Pals, which actually does have the word and in it. I know that's confusing, but yeah, and so we're going to be starting up a game of Burning Wheel, and Jess is actually going to be playing that with us, which should be super fun. Yeah, Matthias and Katie, and yeah, that's going to be really great. And that'll start, I think June 16th is the date that we're going to start, but I'll announce that officially soon. Otherwise, yeah, you can find me here every Sunday, and also soon playing Urban Shadows again over on Off the Table starting June 6th. And on June 8th, actually starting a different Burning Wheel campaign here on Fun Shots. Yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Awesome! And Lindy?
Yeah. You can find me online at Love Lindy on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I play in and GM a lot of games. Mondays and Tuesdays on my channel, I run one, I play the other, but if you like Critical Role Land or spooky Ravenloft stuff, check out Mondays and Tuesdays. This Wednesday, I'm going to be playing on Tales from the Grim in May Black Roses Bloom, which I'm really excited about. That group's been split, and they're finally coming together this episode, so characters will finally get to meet each other, and I'm real excited about that. And then this Friday, also on Tales from the Grim, I think it's at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's in the evening. Summer in Woodlake. It's a little horror summer camp one-shot. And it's supposed to be super fun. We're kind of playtesting it, so it's a new system, new game. You'll get to figure out how it goes. I think it's powered by the Apocalypse based, though. So definitely come check it out. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
And then I think that's all that's really going on for this week. I'm real excited for you, Tama, next week, though.
Yes! Hopefully Jess will recover soon, and we can hop back into the hot Rio drama.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you can find my games here, right here. You're already in the right place. Good job, you did it. You can find me at AnarSS on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, and Itch.io. Itch.io is where you can actually pick up this game. You can get your own version of Spoken Magic. It currently has a print and play version and a download all the images and put them in Roll20 version. I'm working on getting a version that's like built into Roll20 that you can buy from Roll20, but that I don't have a date on that yet. You can get that at Itch.io, or what is it, anarsis.itch. I'm not gonna type it, just Spoken Magic. I have a command for this shit. You can get it right there. If you get a version, it'll be spoken for. Oh no, chat, why would you do this to me? Chat has been off the hook with the puns tonight. I love you, but also
my partner.
How dare you?
It is incessant. This is not just this is not just tonight. This is all the time.
It's not just me.
I'm so sorry, Jolie. Also, Twitter is where you can see me talking about stuff, apparently in really long threads, because that's what I did today. If you want to read a big ol' thread on the sort of theory and strategies behind streaming long-term campaigns on Twitch, take a look at my Twitter. And if you want to support everything that happens here, of course you can do that in all the ways that you can support a Twitch channel, but you can also support by way of the Patreon, which is the best, most efficient way to support all of the creative things that I do. My Patreon is not built around pledge levels where you pledge a certain amount and get certain rewards back. It is built around community goals. So as we hit total goals over the entire Patreon each month, we unlock new rewards that go out publicly to the entire RPG community. Currently, we are doing monthly giveaways of things like maps and portrait token borders, but our next goal, which we are inching our way toward, is to have me release playtest notes of new games that I'm working on and homebrew material for games that I'm running, essentially original RPG content released to you every single month. From me. So if you want to help us get to that goal, consider taking a look at the Patreon and pledging however much you are comfortable doing so. You can see me streaming here on Wednesday. Wednesday is our video game night. I don't know what game I'm going to play. We finished Prey, as I mentioned at the top of the show, after staying up for 9.5 hours. Last Wednesday, so we don't have a game right now, but I'm going to put up a poll on Twitter either tonight or tomorrow with game options for what I will play on Wednesday. And I'm going to tell you right now, because I've already decided what the options are. We will be voting between Rhyme, Transistor, The Longest Journey, and To the Moon. So if you are interested in seeing me play any of those games, all of which I know are good, if you're interested in seeing those, take a look at the poll on my Twitter when that goes up, and come by on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific when I will be streaming Vijima Games. This weekend on Saturday at noon, because I think all of Fun Shots is at noon for pretty much the rest of the season now. On Friday, no, not Friday, Saturday. Yes, Saturday, June 1st. We will have the next episode of Fun Shots, which I will not be in, which will be interesting, but it will be full of really awesome people. Janaya, who's a good friend of the channel, will be running a game of Bluebeard's Bride entitled Half Agony, Half Hope, with an amazing cast of players. I'm not GMing it. I'm not playing in it. I'm just doing production. But I've been talking with Janaya as she works through sort of her version of Bluebeard's mansion, and it's gonna be a really interesting, really good game. So come by on June 1st at noon Pacific for that, and then of course this or the show that we were supposed to have will hopefully be back on Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, that's it for me. That's all the words that I have. Thank you all so much for coming with us on this impromptu journey across a magical world, through the strange spells and problems that we encountered along the way. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you had a good night, but most importantly, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your night. Good night.